Hey everybody, my name is Sam.
And I'm Angela, and welcome to our channel.
We want to welcome you to a very special video. This is a compilation video of everything start to finish from taking our raw land
and turning it into our forever home.
Let's go. As we get started with this video, I want to let you know that this is a very much the Cliff Notes version of this whole project. There are a ton of videos down below and on our channel that chronicle every single step in great detail. So if you see something and you want to know more about it, check the video description down below. There will be a link to it and you can dive deep and relive everything real time with us. We have some news for you guys, and I hope you're sitting down because we have deliberately, intentionally decided to give up our debt-free lifestyle and go into debt.
So here is going to be the front corner of our house. We are going to kind of butt it up against the woods pretty close, just because we want to have a large space between us and the road. We like a little more privacy. We're trying to stay away from the neighbors, but we do really like the woods, and we know the boys are going to want to play there, and we're going to want to entertain back here. So that's why we kind of pushed ourselves up against the woods. So over here is the house site, but let's go over to where our camper is going to be placed while we stay here on the weekends, and then while our home is going to be moved.
All right, Angela, tell them where we are now. Where in the world are we?
Right behind us, I don't know if you can see any little white flags, but this is where we're going to park the camper. And this will probably be its long-term storage place as well. It's going to be out of the way of the house site, so whenever the grading gets done for the house site and they come to move the house and put it in and everything, we are going to be totally out of the way and not have to worry about anything having to be moved or that type of thing.
Yeah. It'll also become beneficial in the future because as we kind of curve over in this area, the workshops and things we plan on building are going to be behind me, so to kind of help round out the loop or balance the left and right side of the driveway, I guess. We do like being on this side of the woods because of the southern facing exposure, the solar benefits we're going to be able to have. In addition, we do like this roadside better, and honestly where we picked the house, it's going to be probably close to 300 to 400 feet off the road, and that's plenty long enough whenever we talk about putting driveway, power, water line, all that kind of stuff in. We don't want to get too far off the road.
Today we are going to start cutting in our driveway, which is very exciting. There is just a little bit of a hump right here that we need to level out smooth, and we have an excavator for that. So Sam is going to be doing the excavator. I am going to be doing the camera and watching.
More manual labor and overseeing supervisor.
You missed the spot type thing.
Forewoman of the project. Our connection to the road here does not require any kind of permits, but that's going to be very special to wherever you may be living or building. We have already dialed or filled out the 811 call before you dig program. All the utilities have been located, and that is absolutely so important before you ever start anything. So just know that we have done our homework, we've prepared ourselves, everything's located, and we're good to go. We are going to be starting here at our road, like Angela said, and we're going to have a 40-foot wide connection to our road. All in all, everything's going really smooth so far. This connection to the road has turned out really good. I am leaving a little bit of a ditch or a low spot where our driveway connects to the road because we're going to be installing what's called driveway tile, also called culvert pipe. Otherwise, the cut's pretty good. Angela is telling me that it looks okay. She's happy. I think the next thing I'm going to do is take these two big piles of dirt I have on the right and left of the driveway and just smooth them out and kind of get rid of them here along the roadside. We're not going to want to try and move the soil or do anything with it, so I'm just going to smooth it out, and then we'll see how far out whatever we kind of get into after that, I guess. So yeah. Where we live, they have county water, so think of city water but all the way out in the county, which is really cool. First thing to do was to place on our property at the road frontage where we want the county to install the water tap. So We just went for a straight line from where we're going to probably put the house site to the road, and I drove in a T-post and painted it bright blue. The county gives you a little flag on a wire, but given the property type that we're dealing with, we still have the soybeans here, there's a lot of tall grasses. I didn't want that to get lost, or any kind of communication or confusion or mix up, or them not to be able to find it when they come out and do the water tap. So sunk $6 of a T-post in the ground here with some paint, and I know that is going to be great. They are going to see that, and they'll know where we want our water tap. At this point, it's just a matter of waiting for them to get it scheduled. They will work us into their books, come out, tie it in, and call us when it's done. So I've got the excavator up here at the road, right where our water tap is installed. We have flagged it out and made a beeline from point A to point B, and we're going to, as best we can, just trench a straight line from the tap all the way back to where the camper is going to go. That was pretty easy. Thanks to my brother Adam. He's got his John Deere tractor out here. He was able to backfill a little bit, hold that pipe in place. Now we get to go scuttle through this trench 300 feet down all the way back to the Jeep.
What we've got here is a man, his trench, and his FDR 9.
Just me and some pipe.
Laying the pipe, son. Doing great.
That's a happy little pipe layer. We got the pipe laid. So now we get to cover up all that work we did. We'll go ahead and let him start filling from here at the road. I need to go on down to the end of the trench and dig maybe another 12 feet worth. We'll get as much run out of this water line as we can. And yeah, see what we can get done.
Sounds good.
Oh my gosh, look at that thing go. All right, good. The meter turned on, spun like a county fair ride, but it stopped, which is good. Let's go back down there and see if we have water. Nice. My goal with this implement and with this job that I want to do today is not to cut, remove the topsoil and grade ourselves a road. I'm not going to really be able to do a crown or ditch lines or anything super fancy along those lines. My goal is to use this tractor to smooth out the ruts, undulations, and prepare the surface to then be packed down and give us a base for a driveway. Well, we have our first load delivered. This was around 22 tons, and it went, okay, it made it from the road to the camper spot. I'm thrilled with that.
It did.
That's awesome.
And then back some.
Yeah, it even back some.
What's crazy is, like, I watched the time on the camera as I was recording it, and it was 3 minutes from start to stop. I'm like, yeah. Wow.
Well worth paying the $50 haul bill for having all this delivered and spread. What are you smiley about? What do we think is about to happen here?
We're hoping that we're about to get our house site graded.
That's right. The background you see behind us is about to be transformed into a dirt pad.
Hey, and then house on top, eventually.
So I'm trying to be very respectful and not shove the camera in the guys' faces as they work. I did ask them, say, hey, you guys mind if we do a little bit of video? They said, sure. But then they were also appreciative when I said, don't worry, I'm not going to shove the camera in your face. So they have measured the width and length of our frame for the mobile home. That's something that our mover had texted me and said, hey, I need you to measure the width of your I-beams and then the lengths. So they've got that measurement, and it looks like they're staking out and putting rebar at certain intervals, which will be what they eventually use a giant auger bit to drill the footers for. That is my assumption. Again, I'm not over there bugging them, asking them every single step, but in my head at least, I think that's what's happening. So we'll keep watching to see if Sam's head is correct or if Sam's just way off base. To say that that was a whole bunch of excitement is an understatement.
Yeah.
So, okay, elephant in the yard. The concrete truck got temporarily stuck. The dude was like hauling literally tons of concrete. And even though it was a 10-wheel drive truck, 3 axles, I mean, it's sticky mud out here. It will get you and you won't know what happened until you've been got.
And then you've sunk.
As you can see from behind us, our home looks a little bit disassembled. That's because it is ready to hit the road. So let's bring you guys along for the week-long story of breaking down our mobile home.
So we had a notebook that we had to write everything down in to make sure we got to it because it was a long list.
It was a big list, and each one of those items was like a project in and of itself.
It really was. And we were really hoping to get more than one done per day because we only had 4 or 5 days to do them.
Yeah. So the first thing on our list was to tackle the finishing of our metal roof. Yes, someone had put it off getting back up there on that ladder to trim out the gables. So let's go ahead and let you guys watch that process real quick. Today we are going to start taking down our underpinning. That is the white stuff that's under the house. It is 2 layers of fiberglass with closed cell foam inside, so it is an insulated underpinning. We're just going to start taking them apart and stacking them up neatly. We don't know that we're going to take them to Tennessee. We're hoping we can do a block foundation. That's still kind of up in the air, so for now we'll try and set everything neatly organized out of the way and start to underpin the house. The last thing to disconnect from the house, and the most crappy job. Yes, crappy. I have to cut the sewer pipe. What we have to do with this mobile home as far as preparing it is have nothing below the bottom of this I-beam. So any kind of wires or electrical conduit or sewer pipes have to be above this point. Well, looky there. That was so uneventful, but hey, it is off, and we ain't got a chocolate yoo-hoo factory down here. That is really, really nice. Whew, I don't think that could have went any better. So, yay. Thud. That's how we did it last. So while the work is done to unhook it and all of that, we want to go ahead and give you guys the last tour of our home as well. Okay, as far as it being in North Carolina, let you guys see it in ready to go mode, and I don't know, just say bye to the scenery out the windows. I don't know, it's all going to Tennessee. Hopefully it won't be any different when it arrives.
Right. But
we'll go ahead and do a quick walk around tour, close this thing up, and then we'll say bye outside. It'll be the last time we're in this house until it's in Tennessee.
Nice.
We are here for a very exciting special day, which is
our house move.
I think that's it. We're at the point where they've got all their equipment, they're moving their stuff out of the way, and I think we're about to see the house pulled out.
Woo!
That's not the way I thought they were going to take it. Very interesting. I am totally in shock at how they're taking it down, and that my house is at like a degree angle that I never thought I would see. Not many people can say that. But I am praying the whole way that everything is good and fine, and it'll be good and fine. Hey, if it can survive going down this hill like this, road trip, no problem.
Seriously.
No problem.
I can't believe that our house is actually sitting here. It made it safe and sound, and wow!
Look at it. Well, the guys just left after, I guess, installing everything and ready for inspection. We really don't know for sure because we weren't over here in their faces, bugging them. They were kind of doing their thing. They worked all day on this, and I don't know. It's one of those things. Sometimes we are more hands-on with the video. This is definitely one where we weren't, and we're okay with that. I'm
surprised by the amount of space that the drain lines and everything take up. It's a lot.
It is. It's all over the place. We knew that when we picked the spot for the house, and then we got our septic permit. We knew that we were going to have this set up at that point. It's just different to now see it in person rather than a sketch on a piece of paper from the state.
Right. It is what it is, and we get to live here and have our house where we wanted it. So that's the bigger point that we're taking away.
Yeah. It's a more expensive system, but the house is where we want it. So buy once, cry once. I think the next step is for the inspector to come out and inspect everything, and then they will cover it all up. And then after that, we have to get our electrician to hook everything up and then pay for a second inspection at that point. We could have avoided the whole second inspection if we had already trenched and had our power from the utility run, but we didn't know where that was going to go. Wait, scratch that. We didn't know where the drain lines were going to go. I never would have guessed they went that far in the hayfield.
Right.
So we waited, and I'm still glad we waited, even though they didn't go to where we had mowed for our power line trench.
We were being safe.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's pretty much it in a nutshell of what was done. After they left, we did do a lot of smoothing and making the front yard more of what we wanted it. And then it ended with the pole getting put up with the alarm on it.
Right. In reality, the electrical portion of the septic tie-in was months later down the road. So what you're seeing, or what you saw with the footage of the pole and the little alarm light and everything, like off of Jurassic Park, that's reality. That's what we have to live with. So it's a little bit ugly, yeah, but again, it lets us put our home exactly where we want it on the property, and I don't know, it's a pole. Bright as all get out, but we'll still rock and roll.
I want you to take a look at what we got over here. It is a beautiful mini, very mini excavator.
Micro.
That's a good term for it. That we are going to get some projects knocked out in the next week. That's it. We got it for a full week. So we get to have lots of fun on the homestead with it. But first things first, we need to put in our water line. We have several that we're going to have to put in for use around our homestead right here. So come along, let's start digging.
The first step is to bury a water meter box down in the ground. We're not putting a water meter here, but we're going to use this as a point of junction or teeing off to the multiple different spurs and runs that we're going to have on our property. Having the box in the ground will allow us to have access to service it, check on it, and otherwise do stuff with the connections without having to dig everything up.
We have finished doing, well, Sam has finished doing around the faucet area, what hydrant I think it's called. And so before we turn off any water or anything like that, we're going to go ahead and, well, Sam is going to go ahead and dig to the house. Then we'll have to the soap shack and then to the greenhouse.
For our water line, we would love to have been able to continue the blue SDR9 pipe. The same stuff we did for the water tap to the hydrant. However, the stuff is impossible to find nowadays, and if you can find it, it's super expensive, just for us where we are. So instead, after a little research, we've decided the best thing for us is going to be installing 3/4 inch PEX with some approved underground fittings. So we're going to crimp it on to the connections that are here at the house and start laying it out in the trench.
So wow, all of those hours of digging, and then in like less than 2 or 3 minutes we get the whole line laid. Hey, I guess that's a positive though, thank you.
A lot easier than gluing PVC.
True, very true.
Ugh. Little muddy mess. So it looks like some progress is being made, which is great.
Yes.
So a brief overview of what I understand the process to be. They are digging the footers right now, and as you see, they're not giant footers. They're not 12 inches thick. They're not 16 inches wide. It's because this is not a true foundation. This footer and these block walls will never hold the house. None of them do. Well, okay, most of the ones you'll ever see on mobile homes aren't holding the house. They are strictly a self-supported standing veneer. So they get away with a lot thinner footings that way. Another thing that you may be seeing is you don't see any rebar around. That's also standard. They don't put rebar in these things. It is what it is. I mean, we trust the company. They know what they're doing. They know it is a very reputable company. It's probably one of the best masons in the area that we've got. So I'm not worried about problems. The reason you pay somebody that has a good reputation is because they're the professionals. They know what they're doing.
Exactly.
So taking a look at all the materials, this appears to be 6-inch thick block. At least that's what I assume it is, a 6-inch block. And then you're also going to notice there are some thinner ones. I think the thin blocks are for the front and back ends of the home, where you've got the frame rails coming very close to the end of the house and they don't have a lot of room. Again, that's just an assumption. I'm not asked them.
And probably where the anchors come out and they go really close to the outside of the home.
Probably.
Just the areas like that.
Yeah. We've not been over here bugging the guys. We're not poking a camera in their face at all. This is definitely going to be one of those things where they can just handle it. We're not going to be bothering them because really we're doing so many other things in the background. It's so nice to pay and have this done.
Something else done that we don't have to do.
Yeah. We can focus on other things and honestly get 2 things done at once. Previously on Green Acre Homestead. That trench has to be at least 4 feet deep. We tried to dig it with a little micro excavator and hit shell rock around 3 feet. I have some bad news. We have hit rock. Pretty much a nice flat layer of rock about 2 feet under the ground.
Well, this stinks.
We got the excavator and the additional excavator. Didn't cut it. We went and got the trip for the jackhammer, one of the largest ones they had. And it didn't cut it either, but it's kind of like eating a steak with a spoon. That's pretty much what was going on.
It's a good time to call it a day.
It is, yeah. What you see behind me here, this is what is called a box pad. For our electrical installation, we're doing all underground, but since it is so far of a distance from the pole at the road to the house, they're running a transformer box on top of this. This is just the thing you put in the ground to sit that transformer on top of, and the wire, the conduit we'll lay, will come up and allow them to do junctions and stuff like that. So it's going to be something that we're going to largely bury, but it will have eventually our green transformer box sitting on top of it. We've looked over the PDF that we got from the power company, and we need to bury this 26 inches below final grade, which is the grass height, you know, the ground. We're going to go a little bit further beyond that because we want to put this on top of a gravel base, so that helps with drainage and just that's what they want as well. So we're going to go down as deep as the American flag on my level. That's where we've measured, and so as I dig around, Angela will have that to have a stick to tell me dig further or you went too far, that kind of thing. Well, we got ourselves some piece of machinery here. Concrete Buster is the name for this giant jackhammer attachment, hydraulically driven, that is on the end of the excavator's arm. A lot of you guys mentioned in the last video, hey, you should have got a Concrete Buster, should have done a jackhammer, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you're right. In hindsight, perfect opportunity, should have done it. But we never do these projects knowing what we're going to run into. So we are back again with a piece of machinery, and we're going to bust up some rock and really just bust up some rock. It's 9 o'clock, and as you can see from here and where we're standing, which was the finish line, I didn't get it done. Welcome to part 3 of our electrical trench saga.
Hopefully this will be the end of the digging of the trench.
This is reality, guys, of doing your own grunt work. I got all the pipe laid in the trench. It is all connected from the pole all the way down to here, with the exception of 2 last coupler unions that I want to do in the trench once everything is all routed, said and done, connected to the meter base. It is amazing to see the difference between the machines. I mean, that is a larger, more powerful front loader, yes. But this is also the difference between a front loader and just having a rear scrape blade. For him, he can move dirt where he doesn't have to put his tires. For a rear blade, you have to drive over or drive on the place where you want your blade to work. Take a look at that. That looks beautiful to me. I no longer have a mountain of dirt and rock and junk and an open trench. We now have a mostly filled in trench, a somewhat compacted trench, and no mountains of dirt. Yep, we have already laid down a 100-foot section of 4-inch corrugated pipe that is covered in a sock. It is to keep the soil from penetrating the pipe, and it is laying up next to the footer of our block foundation. This is just to catch any rainwater runoff that gets down there in the area and get it out away from the home. We don't have any groundwater issues out here, thank goodness. So this pipe honestly is more than is done in most of the areas in the homes around here, but it's one of the extra measures we wanted to take just because it's here, it's exposed. Let's just do it and we know it's done.
This is the easiest point ever it'll be to put this in.
Yes. So we have the drain in place. It is up next to the house. We have a skid steer rented, which is a cool piece of equipment. It's our first time really renting a skid steer. Should be fun learning how to drive it. And then otherwise what we're going to be doing is taking the topsoil that was removed whenever they graded and cut the house pad and backfilling up against the foundation wall of the house to give us positive slope and drainage away and finish grade our backyard.
And then front yard.
Yep, and then front yard. And then side yard and everywhere else.
We might as well place some. I mean, come on.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what just took a little while for you guys to watch was in reality how long for us to do?
About 11 months.
It was quite the journey. That's putting it lightly.
A lot of highs and lows in there, but we were able to end off on a high note by getting to move into our home.
Yeah, we're here. So, hey, we won. I have to say my lowest part of the whole project was that electrical trench.
Yes, most definitely.
That one was the absolute worst. What was shown in this video is very much the Cliff Notes version. It took, I think, like 2 weeks, multiple rentals, tons of money for conduit, and everything that was just, in the moment, it felt horrible and terrible. But now it's done, it's over with, and we can all forget about it.
Yep, it's all covered up now.
What was your favorite part of the whole project? The whole house build, what did you like the most?
Probably getting a block foundation because it made it feel like a real home. And then the porches because they are so much bigger than we thought we would be able to do.
Yeah.
And that we had in the past.
Yep. Especially compared to where we lived before. We had tiny little porches because we were literally carved out on the side of a hill. I think for me, the biggest, most epic thing obviously was the house move.
Yes.
That one was the real nail biter. Everything was going to hinge on that, whether it was successful or not. Were we going to be permanently in camper, homeless town?
Oh, gosh.
Or were we going to be successful? So, thankfully, the house arrived with no problems. There are links to all the videos down below that we covered briefly here, but also if you go back on our channel, you can look and see we've chronicled everything. Not only just this house move and stuff like that, but we did a complete renovation inside the house before we moved back into it. If you follow our channel, you already known that, but if you're new, you kind of just plopped and dropped into this one. Know that there's a lot more stuff out there that we did do before we really got to move in.
Well, guys, thanks for coming along. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time on the homestead.
See ya.
Bye.